Yeah, and here we are back again with the one and only Mark Ferrimond.
Roland.
Yeah, Wargames talk. Mark, product of the year, speed paint markers from Deep Cut Studios.
Yeah. Well, see, this is your product of the year, but not mine. But fill your boots and tell everybody about it. And again, product placement with Urban War.
Absolutely. Somebody has to support your local game store, game companies,
Exactly.
but it's not official merchandise. It's not official merchandise.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
More on Urban Wars later.
No, it's what was that? I don't want to do I don't want to do commercial for other, but anyways, speed paint markers, and I said product of the year. Yeah, it's a bit euphemistically. I have seen the reviews.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean everybody has seen speed paints, contrast paint, express paints, whatever they are called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Jiffy Minks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean every manufacturer has them now. And one of the ideas, I think the idea is really great. Deep Cut Studios took the Army Painter speed paints, put them into marker pens. So essentially you have, like I'm having a pencil here, you have speed paints in your painting pencil, and they released 20 speed paints, some spare tips, because these are essentially felt pens, what I have seen so far. There are a number of reviews on YouTube already. So I'm not going to do a review, and I'm not going to buy that full set, because the full set with 20 pens is 110 quid.
Not cheap.
Not cheap, definitely. I think that is my hang-in, where I said the idea certainly is product of the year, but the execution. My suspicion is that Deep Cut Studios and Army Painter got together and said, well, let's just try this, for crying out loud. Yeah. And really, the idea at the nerd level is fantastic. So innovation is sometimes a very simple thing. So essentially what they did is take 6 milliliter of speed paint, put it in a marker pen, put 20 pens together, and you can travel with your paints.
Yeah.
But so one of those review videos said, well, if you want to paint while you are on holiday, in plane, in the car, and so I don't paint on the plane, in the car, or on the train. I mean, imagine and turbulence. Oopsie daisy, no.
Well, I've not painted on a plane. I've painted on trains, and I've painted in cars, and I've painted on buses, and I've painted on holiday, but I've never painted in a plane. Although that does sound quite interesting, actually. So if I can get my screen to show, if you just bear in one moment, I do have a look at some of the paints from the guys at Element Games. Okay, so just bear with me a second, and I will get on. Right, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, right. So Element Games have got the full list of these speed paint markers. So you've got like Absolution Green, Ancient Honey, Beowulf Blue, Blinding Light, Bright Red, which is a good paint. Desolate Brown, which is another good paint. Familiar Pink, Fire Giant Orange, which is an excellent paint.
That's very strange.
Yeah. Magic Blue, Moonlit Coral, Occultist Cloak, which again is another good paint. Peachy Flesh, which is one of the best flesh tones that they do. Polished Silver Metallic, which is awesome. Purple Swarm, Raging Sea, Replacement Tips, which are $4.75. And then you've got the Rigor Mortis, and finally we've got Sand Golem, Shamrock, and Slaughter Red. Shamrock Green and Slaughter Red. A full set from Element Games is £104. That includes a carry case for them. Now, the actual paints themselves are all speed paints from Army Painter. There's nothing new about that. The thing that is new is putting them in the felt tip things.
Yeah.
Now, these felt tip pens have been around for a while. They're not brand new. They've been around for a few years. I used some about 2 years ago. I tried to fill them with ink, and they didn't work because the ink was too porous and just run straight through. Because there's a bit of a viscosity inside the speed paints, they kind of stay in the barrel.
Yeah.
And I think they've changed the barrel slightly, because you can get these for watercolors, and to buy them empty is about £2, $3, something like that per brush.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go via this official thing, it's going to be quite expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I think it was Miniac, sorry, who did it, or Ninjon, one of those two. They did a review of them, and they just tried painting a figure using these brushes, and the results were varied,
Yeah.
to say the least. But it's worth giving a try.
Look, I think the application here is really for when you go on holiday, you fill your empty paints, your empty pens with paint that you're going to use and take them with you. It's much easier than taking all the bottles with you, especially when you are on the plane.
Well, you're only allowed certain amounts of liquid on a plane, and paint counts as liquid.
Yep.
You know, because I know that from when going over to Ibiza earlier this year, I had paints in my bag, and they looked at them, and then they just give me the nod to go through because they could see they're all in little tiny pots. And it didn't come to 100 mil; it came to less than 100 mil. But they're quite within their rights for anything that's over 100 mil for you to ask you to throw it away.
Yeah.
So. Oh well, never mind.
No, it's really. I think the application is a bit more limited than what the review said. And look, just for trying it out, or for going on a holiday. Okay, if you have the time, the money, and everything, but I said a bit euphemistically, a bit ironically. Product of the year. I think yes, the idea is worth product of the year actually, but the execution, and that's why I'm saying this is. I mean, look at it from this point of view. An Army Painter speed paint costs me like what, £3 in my local game store, and that is 17 mil. Let's say it's 18 mil for crying out loud. And the pen is 6 mil. So 3 pens equals 1 paint. So they cost £5 each. That's £15 for a 3-pound paint bottle. So, and sorry, that is a bit too much nerd level for my wallet. So if the price comes down to say £3 a pen, then I think definitely we can say product of the year. And
so it basically just says that it's a marker pen, and it uses Hammer Speed Paint Volume 2 or version 2, but you only get 1 pen per thing, and as you say, they only all about 6 mil, which isn't very much, but nonetheless. But anyway, segueing from that, we can come back to that later. Speaking of paints, things have been kind of hotting up in Spain over the past few months. Since the beginning of, I think it was the middle of November, there has been a problem in Vallejo. And Vallejo's staff, as you can see from this headline here, the Victorious Acrylicos Vallejo. So basically, for those who haven't know this in the news, Vallejo staff did almost a 100% work to rule to complain about the conditions they were working in. They were working for below minimum wage. They were working for in really bad conditions. The safety was a thing. In fact, on one of the buildings they were in didn't have a roof. So when it rained, they got wet.
that's
So
you see, this is the kind of thing. And sorry to interrupt you there. This was my thing, and it reminded me of something. A company I worked for, or an organization I worked for, where people literally were working against each other. And situation was as follows. A new machine was ordered for $1 million US. Now keep in mind, $1 million US. And the only place they could put that machine had a problem with a water leak. Fixing the water leak would have cost about $1,000. But the people responsible for fixing the water leak are not the people responsible for running the machine.
yeah.
So what happened is the people running the machine said, look, guys, this is what's going on. This is where we're going to put it. This leak needs to be fixed. What happened was the people responsible for fixing the leak said, well, you're not telling me what to do. I don't give a damn. Yeah. And escalating right top to the boss of the company, shit came back down and said, well, fix it. And they said, instead of actually fixing it, they just said, oh, we fixed it. The following week, machine installed, no problems. Over the weekend, water leak comes back again with a vengeance, and $1 million machine fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And this reminded me of, you don't have a bloody roof or a leaking roof where you are making. I mean, that explains. Let's just say I am not very happy with the new Vallejo model colors. I mean, Vallejo model colors were probably the most viscous paints that I'm using, apart from scale 75, which is really, almost a solid, but they are great. Yeah, and the Vallejos were great as well. And now I'm using the same paint. It is much, much more runny. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Yeah. So it's really the kind of thing where I say, and I started looking it up. If Vallejo now starts to have these issues, yeah, and their workers actually go on strike for making the company better, yeah, it's not, they are not just, I want more money, yeah, they are pointing out, well, there is an issue for the business, yeah, and right. That's I mean, I have, when I came back in 2021, I bought a lot of Army Painter war paints, which were a lot better in quality than the war paints I bought ages ago. Yeah, so they have done quite a bit with the quality. And I slowly built up my Vallejos, because Vallejo, the model color in particular, they have a lot of different colors, which is literally the only thing going for them still after all these issues that I was talking about. And I really hope they get their act together with this now.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the viscosity is going to change for good, then I mean, it's specifically one paint that I have problems with, the white. And I already found a replacement, but more about that later, because I heard a rumor. Mark.
Yeah.
And the rumor is Games Workshop is changing the paints again.
Yeah. I tried to get it confirmed earlier, but I couldn't. My source in GW would neither confirm or deny the statement. Deniable plausibility. I don't blame them, really. The rumors are that they're actually going to ditch the old pots that they've been using, and they're going to reformulate the actual paints themselves. Now, some of the paints have been reformulated over the years, mainly some of the greens and browns. So if you've got a Striking Scorpion green that's about 4 or 5 years old, and you buy a Striking Scorpion green now, or that equivalent, that's just off the top of my head. The pigments are different colours. Same with Mephiston Red, which is still like one of the popular paints. If you've got a pot that's 2-3 years old, and you're about to run out, and you go and buy one from Games Workshop or one of Games Workshop's stockists, the paint's going to be slightly darker. It's not actually the same vibrancy because they changed the formula probably about 6 months ago, but not told anybody. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. And I did reach out to someone at Games Workshop, but as always, because Games Workshop's a big multinational company and I'm only a small YouTube channel, they completely ignored me, which I don't really care about. I'm not bothered about that. But it would be nice to know if what you're paying for, you're getting what you're paying for, rather than if you've spent ages painting your immaculate Blood Angels army and you've got your army painted just to the colours to enter your tournament, and you go, oh, hang on, I've got to do this one last unit, and then you run out of your paint and go and get some from Games Workshop, and then when you put it on your models and put them next to the rest, they look completely different. You know, it's not on. But just going back quickly to Vallejo. So after 26 days of escalating actions, striking workers at the Catalonian paint manufacturer Acrylicos Vallejo have won significant victories at the negotiation table. Vallejo manufactures the game colour and model colour line of paints that are most popularly used for miniatures and war games. According to a post on the Catalonian Labour Organisation CGT's Blue Sky page, a pre-agreement has been signed that will guarantee workers a salary increase, parental aid package. So they've not had a parental aid package in place. New workman harassment protocols and occupational safety improvements. Now, as we mentioned before, these guys didn't even have a roof over one section of the factory they work at. And a few years ago, they were bought out by where was it? I think it was, there we go, Pro Capita bought them out for $53 million. And rather than investing the money into the company, they haven't. They've just like sat back and got rich and fat off all the proceeds of it. But anyway, we talked about that. Let's move on. Games Workshop. Right, you were mentioning the paints. Yeah, the rumour is that they're going into dropper bottles, but they'll be in the shape of much like the Warlord Games miniatures from was it Bolt Action ones that were in the shape of a bullet? Yeah, that's the rumour that they're going to be in a dropper bottle like that. And instead of it being 15, 16, 17, 18 mil, they're going to be 12 mil. And obviously the price will go up. Now, whether this happens or not is a different matter. I recently just did a review on Army Painter's Halo paint set for Halo Flashpoint. And I've got to say, of all the Army Painter paints I've used, those are really, really good. The viscosity is just spot on. And the black and white are perfect. So you may want to give that white a try. Now, these have been specially formulated. Apparently, the only way you're going to get them is by buying the paint set, because they're never going to be available singular. Your volume's gone, Roland. Your volume has gone. So I'll just sing along whilst you fix your volume. A few moments later.
Well, yes, a few. Actually, my microphone ran out of juice. Apparently.
Oh dear me.
I was going to say, first of all, 53 million sounds a lot to you and me, but in the greater world of business, that's peanuts. Yeah. So and what I find very sad on this occasion is here I am in full Technicolor.
Yeah.
Stop sharing.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to something in a second. You carry on.
Yeah, you will be back in a second. What I was going to say, what is so sad about this, that basically Vallejo has the market cornered, with the exception of Games Workshop. And the amount of times Games Workshop has changed their paints, a lot of people are going to say, well, no, I'm going to go with a paint range that doesn't change every couple of years. Funny enough, I just looked this up when I heard this rumor. The last big change was in 2015.
Yeah.
And formulation, pigmentation has changed at least 3 times since then.
Yeah. I mean, some of the paints are amazing.
Yeah, it's not to say that's the problem, you know?
I mean, they do some absolutely stonking paints ranges, and I really like Vallejo paints, and I like the express colours. In fact, last year I did a challenge for 28 days of February, and I did a miniature a day, just painting, using nothing but black, white, Vallejo black, white, and the Vallejo express paints, and you can dry brush with them. You just got to, like, take your time when you're actually using them. I do have another thing as well, if I can bring it up, because my internet is running really slow.
Running on diesel.
Well, running on diesel will be running on diesel would be an improvement, actually, unless it's running on Vin Diesel. Yeah. So yeah, my internet's really, really bad at the moment. So apparently, speaking with our Lord and Masters, the great beast that is known as Games Workshop, they've had a very, very good year. Really, really good year. So much so that they're about to enter the FTSE 100.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, like, you're the man with the degrees in business, not me. So perhaps you can shed more light on that. But for all the people who work at Games Workshop, they must be, especially the shareholders, they must be going.
Look, from a business point of view, Games Workshop is run really, really well.
Yeah.
That's not to say. And I do recall what was going on when they had these issues when the sales essentially collapsed, even with a new edition of Warhammer 40K coming out. And what happened there at that point is that a small cap investment fund invested in shares in Games Workshop, and a really great investment. So I looked it up. I looked up the share price earlier this year after a long, long time, and I'm like, oh my bloody God.
Yeah.
So in terms of the industry, Games Workshop is the whale in your backyard pond. And it has, like we said last time, spurred so many different companies. Fun fact, that is one of the reasons why Games Workshop is not crediting its writers anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want people to say, yeah, oh, this guy was at Games Workshop. I like that his or her kind of stuff. I'm buying that game.
Yeah. Well, that's not being credited for writers and painters and artists. I don't think. Well, I know for a fact that if Games Workshop was still had Brian Ansell in charge, or even what's his name, Tom Kirby, even if he was still in charge, they wouldn't have had this happen, because they valued creativity among the people who was working there. And James Workshop, or Kevin Roundtree, whoever it is now, is in charge. They're approaching it with a business point of view rather than thing. But I mean, the thing is, they made more money last year than the entire British fishing industry, and that's a toy company. But then again, when you think about it, they've made enough money now that it looks very likely that Amazon might be undergoing, like, you know what, we've made a lot of money and we're going to invest into you. and it may end up that this time next year or the year after, when the new 40k thing comes out, that Games Workshop are an Amazon subsidiary, and you'll get your miniatures delivered by drone. Well, they won't actually be delivered; they'll be thrown through your letterbox or at your letterbox, or more importantly, they'll be thrown at your neighbour's letterbox, and then you'll get an email to say that it's been delivered with a picture of a building that's like five miles away.
I mean, all jokes aside, yes, it from a business point of view, it is run very well, and that's not to say Tom Kirby was not without criticism.
True.
And I think the big controversy at that point, and I think it was under Tom Kirby when this started, not crediting who wrote the codex and things like that, was because people were up in arms against a certain writer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, let's not go there.
No, let's not go there.
I'm just saying, with the things with the paints, if you want to have the Games Workshop paints from many moons ago, you buy coat arms, or what I am going back to is now MP miniature paints. And exactly like you said,
yeah,
once you start taking more time painting miniatures, the results, yeah. And with MP miniature paints, they just got the right consistency. You shake them, screw top bottle 30 mil, almost twice as much as with your Vallejos and Games Workshop paints. And I think it's £3 a bottle. No, £2.
£2 a bottle.
$2.25. They might go up to $2.50 next year.
Yeah.
And literally the only beef I have is that the paint range is quite limited. I think it's 80 paints or so.
Yeah. But 80 paints is still, you only need 8 paints. That's all you need is 8 paints. And you can make every colour from 8 paints. You don't need 80 paints. But
I haven't
as painters, as gamers and painters, we end up getting very lazy and want to use shortcuts all the time. That's why we're using these trifectas and triads of paints. Duncan Rhodes.
Why we're using speed paints.
Yeah, Duncan Rhodes two thin coats. They're sold in triads. So you've got your dark shade, your base color, your mid-tone, and your highlight.
Yeah.
So 3 different colors of paint. So if you're doing greens or reds or yellows or whatever, you just use these, and the paints are brilliant. I've used a couple of them in the past. I don't own very many of them, but they are very good. But you can get that result with any paints. And going back to using these Army Painter markers, I've been painting a long time. Not very good, but I've been painting a long time. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've run out of black paint and used a marker pen. I've run out of black paint. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Marker pen.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that. I mean, this is long ago. Run out of black paint, go and get a Sharpie. Sharpie's £2, permanent ink, put it on, jobs are good. But I find it strange that people get so het up over them, but it's part and parcel of the hobby, I guess. So I have one more piece of news I will share with you again, if you just bear with me one moment.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to start sharing. Aha, there we go. I'm sharing now. So, coming from the guys over at Great Escape Games in the new year, this is the new faction that's coming out for Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah.
They appear to be Mormons. Sorry, not Mormons. Amish. My brain's gone. Why did I say Mormons? They appear to actually could be Mormons. Yeah, because some Mormons will have beards and stuff. Yeah, I think they appear to be the Amish. There isn't very much thingy about them on the website at the moment, but this is the image that they previewed today. This is the family, so I would imagine that it would be the Amish. They're going to be appearing for Dead Man's Hand sometime in early 2025. I think it's the end of January they're due out, and then we're going to be getting the bad and the ugly book which will then introduce bad guys, and because I think these are in the good source book, but I've not received mine yet, so I can't really comment on it. But it should be good to paint up, especially if you like painting black. You know.
Yep, I have.
It's
I
nice
don't know how many shades of gray. More than 50.
Yeah, it's very good to actually see that they've got a couple of ladies there as well, and a preacher guy at the front. Preacher guy is quite a good one to have. Right, I'm going to stop sharing that one now. Yeah, I can have two of them, I guess. Right, so so that's for Dead Man's Hand in the near future. They also did very well with their Kickstarter for the mounted cowboys. So they're all available now. They actually went into retail yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, the 20th. So that would have been Friday. They went into retail. And they've also done the 1, 2, 3, was it 4 good characters that were in Dead Man's Hand Redux? They're on the cover. So you got Nate, and you got the sheriff, you've got the Mexican guy, and you've got, I think it's a gunslinger, I can't remember. They're of the good faction, and they've done those on horseback. So it's basically new plastic horses with a metal miniature. So that should be quite cool.
I'm just checking something out that yeah, I am going to share something now.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. Here we go. Start sharing. And we were talking about the MP miniature paints.
Yeah.
And they are now in stock with Zep Games, as you mentioned, Urban War, and my little bit of product placement. So no, the thing is, I spoke with Sebastian, and he allowed me, or he gave me the artwork, so to speak, so I could get myself an Urban War mug. So that's something that he has been toying with, T-shirts and other merchandise, along with the new starter box. I think we talked about it last time.
Yeah, we did. It looks very good. The box, I like the artwork.
Yeah. And the miniatures are going to be, well, for the Viridians, is the first release of Viridian Marines that came out in 2004. For the Junkers as well, they came out, I think, in 2005. And you get a specialist for each faction and new leader miniatures. Here, Drusus, the exosuit guy, and a shock marine with a hand flamer. Everybody who pre-ordered the game box will also get this brand new miniature. And the rule book comes as a paperback in the box. And just looking at the hobby products, the paints, they are already partly out of stock again. So quite a few people have bought the MP miniature paints, and you have almost guaranteed no changes to the color. And another bonus, it is the best black and white primer I have ever used.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to miniature paints. I did a lot of work with Roger from Gamecraft in Liverpool for years and years and years, and lovely guy, one of the sweetest people you're ever going to meet, and the formulation of the paints is absolutely spot on. It's just finding stockists that are online can be quite difficult, because nobody really wants to stock anything unless it's one of the big three: Army Painter, Vallejo, or Games Workshop.
Yeah,
you know, it's trying to find tooth coats is really difficult in Scotland. I know one stockist in Scotland, and they only carry a few paints, and I think they got those as samples.
I mean, in closing, that's all the topics I have. I want to do a little bit of promotion for one of my friends. You probably know Mark Brandon as well. And together with Carl Timms, he worked on a movie called Off Grid. I'm not going to play it here.
Yeah.
But this is Chris Hoy.
Yep.
Not the thing. So let's have Chris Hoy in the background while I talk. But yeah, that movie was financed by Kickstarter. It's a short movie, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. And yeah, I compared it in a comment to 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
So here is the opening, and I'm going to stop right here.
Yeah.
So Carl put it on YouTube just a couple of days ago. So if you have 21 minutes 25, it is really, really worth a watch.
Yeah. Can you leave the link in the description of the video?
Yes, gonna put the link in the description. People can see it here. But if you search Off-Grid Carl Timms, you will come to the promotional videos and also the video here. I mean, that's me. I'm gonna put the link in the video description. But I thought I unfortunately missed the Kickstarter several years back.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get it on DVD. And I was pestering Mark, I don't know, for the last 6 months. What's going on? Is there any way I can get the DVD? Because you see, this is what I want to end the video with. Is we talked about it before, but the good old times of gaming, 80s and 90s, is coming back. And I think a lot of, or all gamers and all people, not in this country, around the world, have had a very tough 2024.
Yeah, just a wee bit.
And I just think this is kind of where things made more sense to people, where people feel good about the past. A lot of things are going to come back from mid to end next year. So that's something to look forward to. And the fact that Carl is now putting the movie on YouTube, that things like this are getting more publicity, I think that's really, really a good thing. And on that note, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, particularly, of course, you, Eric, and all my gaming friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult year. It's been a very difficult year for me, but there's always tomorrow, you know. No matter what horrors jump out and grab hold of you, there's always hope, because that's the last thing in Pandora's box. That's the one thing that I always cling on to, that there's always going to be something down the line. Happy birthday, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Diwali, happy Passover, happy Kwanzaa, happy Yule to everybody. No matter where you are in the world, look after yourself and get, as I say all the time, introduce a friend to gaming. You will not regret it. Even if it's just playing something simple as sitting down and playing a card game, like drafts, like Snap, because they will probably hit you. But until next year, we will chat again, and we will get something sorted. And we've got some battle reports coming up next year that are going to go on Gamers Web and on Roland Paints Miniatures. The links to Gamers Web and Roland Paints Miniatures will be in the description, if you remembers.
Just send me a reminder.
I'll send you a reminder. And live long and prosper. Oh, and if you haven't seen it, watch the final 2 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks. Fantastic.
Yeah, and with that, I think
that's it.
That's it. And we will see you on the next one.
See you on the flip side.